I'm here today.
I'm here today.
I'm here today.
I'm here today.
I'm here today. Are you?
Are you?
Are you?
At DPS, attendance is important. That's why we're challenging all schools to increase and improve their daily attendance. So I ask again, we're here today. Are you?
Are you?
What time is it? Three, two, one. Yeah!
So the Liberty Summer Camp program is all about STEM-based projects and different modulars. So the kids are faced with different scientific challenges and different topics, focusing on the engineering design program and the scientific method.
3, 2, 1.
It's not like regular school, so that's what makes it engaging. The challenges that the kids have throughout the different modules also make it engaging as well. But it's more so, I'm coming, learning throughout the summer, but I'm having fun throughout the summer as well.
I really like that they let you use your creativity and they kind of make you feel special. They let you kind of do your own thing. They give you instructions, but they let you mostly follow your own path. I like that they give us challenges that I'm able to handle, and I really love designing things.
Mr. C's presentation is good like always. I saw him at the Victoria Theater and his was good too, so he's just doing the same things, and I like his things. I like to see it every time they come here. It's good.
I like that it's fun. You learn a lot of stuff like science, math, reading, and like the science experiment we just did, it was really cool.
Parents or others may think, oh, it's summertime, so learning stops. Learning never stops. So as they continue to come to the program, you know, it's just enriching them and inspiring them to want to be inventors and inspiring them to continue to work with others and collab with others. So I do think that this program should continue to be going. That's why this is my 3rd year coming, because again, I'm having fun too with it.
We hear your commitment to learning, and we're here to extend the challenge. That's why we're asking every student, family, and staff member to be present and be engaged.
When we show up, we build a foundation here. And when we show up, we build a future.
I'm here today. I'm here today. I'm here today. I'm here today.
We believe in the power of showing up.
So we're here today. Are you?
Are you?
Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about bus safety.
Every day, thousands of Dayton Public School students ride the bus to and from school, and it's important to know how to stay safe. First things first, make sure to get to your bus stop at least 10 minutes early, and while you're waiting, stand in a safe spot away from the road. Once the bus arrives, go straight to your seat so the bus can start moving again. And remember, while you're on the bus, stay seated and keep the aisles and exits clear. Just like in a classroom, listen to the driver and follow their instructions. This includes no foul language, no sticking your arms or head out the windows, and no eating or drinking on the bus. Lastly, make sure you only get off the bus at your assigned stop and be sure to walk home safely. Let's all work together to follow these rules and keep our bus rides safe for everyone. Thanks for listening, and stay safe, DPS.
Tight ends right next to them. DBs right here next to them. Hey, everybody understand that? Let's go. Get to work. Get to work. Hey, get a break. Hold on, y'all. Go. Hey, hard work on three. Hard work on me. Hard work on three. 1, 2, 3. Hard. Get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Welcome back. Well, we saw you video on Thursday at the meeting. Oh yeah, I saw you. You did a great job. You were like the star. No, they were like, look, after you got up, they were like, I don't want to work remote no more. There's no need. So we went to 4 o'clock.
Hang on a sec. Nope, the link is not there.
We waited till 4 o'clock. You said it was going to be on there last week.
Yeah, when remember he asked and I said it'll be up next week.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. Yeah, last week he asked, I said I got it.
You got yours?
Yeah, we've had the presentation.
Yeah. It's your first seat.
It wasn't on here.
Yeah. I'm feeling great actually.
You know what? Is this your first time here?
It wasn't on our agenda at all.
Hey, not on the agenda?
No, like it just got added on. Like that's what
Are
I'm
you
saying.
leaving at 6:15, Karen?
No, they just sent it to them. Chief Dooley just sent it. I saw it. Hold on.
You saw it? Well, he asked for it.
Oh, you got it ready? Yeah, I'm just logging him in. I'm just playing. There's a camera right there.
I know, you the one bananas, right?
We got to really log in.
It said, Doc, where's my presentation?
I'm going to borrow my own computer. If I was to bring it to me. No, tell me nothing.
You're not sitting here next week.
Yes, I am. I'm going to tell Nevada to let me do it.
Wait,
For the rest of the week.
you ready?
I call to order Dayton Public School Board meeting at 17:31 hours. Can we have a roll call?
We'll need to elect a treasurer first.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right.
No, sure.
I didn't even know she wasn't over there. Yeah.
Do David. Do David. David.
Can we elect?
Can I elect our associate
Yes,
treasurer?
amen.
Since he is here?
You
Yes.
cannot legally elect
We cannot.
him.
How's the billboard?
You can, you can be appointed as it, and I think he can take the notes for it. But
How's the
physically,
billboard?
you would have the responsibility.
Mr. Walker, then.
I second that.
I was gonna say I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 You don't get the vote. Yes, I do.
Yeah, you do.
It's
Alright.
unanimous.
There we go. Let the record reflect that it will be Eric Walker.
Is there a sheet?
Oh, he got it. So it works. We're good. You can do it from there. It's just like physically the board take a vote as me treasurer pro tem. So like, yeah, we're good.
So he's shirking on his responsibilities.
Yeah, I just have to sign it. That's it.
All right. Roll call. She's not here, but she has an excused absence.
No one will be able to hear him since he doesn't have a microphone on.
Mr. Vice President Bailey, I'm gonna just do the roll call. So
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Here.
Board Member Reiner,
Present.
Board Member Lacy,
Here.
Board Member Smith,
I'm here.
Board Member Wick,
Present.
Board Member Walker is here, and then Mr. Champion.
Here. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Not you, do it.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's tight up here.
Our mission statement, mission inspire, educate, empower. Our vision is to inspire, educate, and empower scholars for a lasting impact, and our purpose to cultivate a supportive and engaging educational experience. Do we have anyone from the bargaining units? I do know that we do have one that's going to be a little bit late, and we will make room for her when she comes. All right. Hearing from the public?
I handed them to,
We have 4 that are ready.
and each of those sheets is another person.
All right, and hearing from the public, when called upon, identify yourselves, state your name, address, school district in which you reside, address the board as a whole through the president and not board members individually. It is inappropriate to address any matter involving pending disputes, grievances under labor agreement, disciplinary actions involving an employee or a student, ongoing labor negotiations, concerns or matters that have already been settled, and/or any matter which, because of its nature, is deemed inappropriate to be discussed in an executive session. The purpose of the public hearing portion of the meeting is for members of the public to express viewpoints and public concerns. You will have 3 minutes to address your concerns.
Alexis Hicks. Shelly DeFranco.
Good evening, board members. My name is Shelly DeFranco, 632 Belmont Park North in the Dayton Public School District, and my students attend Rivers Edge Montessori. I wanted to come back and thank you all for your help in securing afternoon transportation for our kiddos this year. I appreciate the leadership that you showed and the discussion had at the August board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shelley.
Thank you very much.
Jennifer Evans.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Evans. I live at 702 Troy Street in the Dayton Public School District. I'm actually here representing the Old North Dayton Neighborhood Association. The Challenger Learning Center is located in our neighborhood, adjacent to Kaiser School, has been for 35 years. We understand that it is being discussed moving that center. We are in support of it staying exactly where it is. If it cannot stay at Kaiser School for other school board reasons, we support having it moved somewhere else in our neighborhood. It's a great asset for our community. The staff like it there. Everybody that goes there, and it's a very popular center. They have a lot of programming. They know where the neighborhood is. They're familiar with the neighborhood. It's a win-win to have it stay in the neighborhood. So again, we strongly support the center. We want to see it remain where it is, or if nothing else, somewhere else in the Old North Dayton neighborhood, and we would fully support and assist with trying to find a location for it there. I do have a resolution that was passed by our neighborhood association basically stating the same thing. So who might I give that to?
Ms. Guerin. Okay. Oh, I didn't see Ms. Guerin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry Boland.
Good evening, Mr. President and board members. My name is Jerry Bowling III. I live at 522 Herbert Street in Dayton, Ohio, in the Dayton Public School District. And before I start, I'm the son of a former teacher at Dayton Public Schools, and if she was here, she would tell you she served 34 and a half years in this district proudly. So I would be remiss if I didn't say that. I'm also here here on the behalf of the McCookville Neighborhood Association. Combined with Old North Dayton, we are considered to be Greater Old North Dayton, and our children also attend Kaiser School. And when Kaiser School was rebuilt in, I believe, 2005, it was actually built around the Challenger Center. So you guys kept the center there, and we're thankful for that. The Challenger Center has been a partner with both McCookville and Old North Dayton neighborhoods for, like Jennifer said, 35 years, almost 35 years. And we would like to keep it where it's at. They've been a great partner, actually, for us. Also, if it does move, we would like to keep it in Greater Old North Dayton. There is a site on Baltimore Street, which used to be the Stuart Patterson Recreation Center, and later it was a host of Miami Valley CDC, which has since moved. And at that site, there is a gymnasium that would be perfect for the drone program, where they could do that indoors, and that would support that program. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity, and please consider this request. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. President, can I just ask real quick, so the Baltimore Street site, does that have any use at all? Is it empty?
It's our understanding that since the Miami Valley CDC has moved out, that site is actually for sale. I don't have specifics on that, but it's right at the corner. It's embedded with Stuart Patterson Park around it, but it's an individual lot that was sold to a group, and they lease space to the Miami Valley CDC.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That is all that I had on the list.
Dr. Bailey, yeah, I'd be willing to come out and meet with you all. Yeah, I sure would be. If you, Ms. Guerin, if you would get their information, we'll have our folks reach out to you, and you can invite other folks who want to be interested in the conversation. I'll bring a team out and we'll have a conversation. No problem at all.
We now have a presentation from Chief Dooley.
Actually, Principal Christian and Mr. Simmons.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got a suit on today. Wasn't that your old principal?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you have both of them?
Yes.
Good evening, ladies. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bashar Simmons. I'm here representing secondary schools, and I have with me Ms. Lolita Christian, principal of our alternative center at our alternative school at Jackson Center.
Good evening.
All right, we're going to get started with a quote. Every young person deserves an education custom to their unique circumstances and potential. Young people don't need to be fixed. They need to be understood, supported, and given the tools to overcome obstacles. The evidence speaks volumes. When you find the right educational environment, change follows. This is kind of becoming our mantra. It sticks with us. It resonates with me. And I just wanted to share that quote before we got started. I'm going to give you a staff update. Current staffing, we currently have 7 teachers, 1 intervention specialist, 1 school counselor, 1 full-time therapist from South Community, 1 OEC academic coordinator, and we are currently looking for to replace our social worker. Our current enrollment, long-term students, we have 15 middle schoolers, 22 high schoolers, and these are students that are there for more than 20 days. Our non-enrolled students, they fluctuate, so that could be anywhere from 20 students to 50 students a day. Ms. Christian, take it away.
Okay, the current configuration, we are using the academy model for the Ford NGL. And so the alternative programs at Jackson Center has been broken up into 2 academies. Academy 1 is the Inspire Academy, and those are the enrolled students. And Academy 2 is the RISE Academy, and that is the non-enrolled students in lieu of suspension or expulsion. The daily schedule for our enrolled students is a 5-period day. We have 4 core classes: English, math, science, and social studies, credit recovery for high school students who need it, and 1 creative writing class that is taught by our MTSS instructor, who is also our restorative teacher. Every student has 75 minutes of daily support with an MTSS instructor or therapist every day. And so she teaches the creative writing class. And I just wanted to show you, I brought a few samples of the students' work. And you don't have to see it, but if you look on this page, and you look on the next page, and you look on the next page, there are 2.5 pages right in here. All of these samples that I have are at least 2 pages. We have students writing over at the Jackson Center, so I wanted to let you all know that. I'm going to read just a couple of statements from the students. Yeah, thank you. Okay, this young man said, "I've met nice teachers who helped me better myself and control my anger and to get me back on track, to get me back to my school." This young lady, "I've had a good time reading. Coming to this school, I have learned how to read good. I never knew how to do any reading for real because I thought it was just too much for me. Now I love to read. What have I learned from being in Miss McGee's class is that you can be yourself in her class. Miss McGee makes you feel loved. Just because it's an alternative school doesn't mean that it's not a good school. It is a good school. My time here at Jackson Center was not actually as bad as I thought it would be. I am in love with this building. It has shown me that you can be loved by a stranger. Every student has access to the full-time mental health therapist for one-on-one counseling and restorative circles as needed. And we have been partnering with the Dayton Metro Library across the street, and they provide monthly enrichment activities. We also are working with UMADOC, and they come every Friday to work with our high school students in a session for an hour. And then we are celebrating student success in the building. Attendance weekly, we celebrate on Fridays. We are celebrating our students in class. The writings that we receive, students are bringing to me. I give them something. I just say, hey, thank you for sharing. So we are doing some wonderful things over at Jackson Center, and there is more to come.
Thank you, Ms. Christian. Our 30-day plan by November 21st is to continue professional development for staff, secure arts enrichment for students, improve instruction and provide engaging lessons, increase enrollment, begin community service projects to earn the community service seals for graduation, administer the youth science assessment, and continue to explore best practices. Again, this was one of the first times I've presented with students in the building. And I am elated at the effort that I see with just what the students are doing. They're writing. When I'm in the building, when I talk to them, just talking to the students, they are excited about where they are, and they're excited about just changing things, you know, the things that got them there, and just changing their circumstances. So they are really excited about this building, and there's an energy there. So thank you. Any questions?
Any questions?
Quick question. Are they using Apex?
They're using Apex for credit recovery, yes.
Okay, thanks. That's all.
What's the admin support staff levels, or what's remaining left to be filled in the building?
Social worker and 3 pairs.
And then you're currently still the only admin?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you for the work. I'm so incredibly excited about it. I really am. I'm so grateful, honestly, as I'm like ending my cycle of work on Dayton Public School Board work. I am so proud of the work that you're doing and this depth of service that we're giving to our children that need it and our families that need it. So, and I'm looking forward to watching it build because it's so important as we come out of a COVID world and the experience of education that we've had. It's really critically important that we address the needs of our students and our families. And I think this work is so valuable. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have been a part of it and your leadership and the work that you're doing, so thank you. Thank you, Superintendent Lawrence. Thank you to the board that continues to uplift this and support it because it's necessary. So thank you. I just want to say that. Amen. Yeah.
Mr. Smith? Okay, I have a few. I'll start with you guys before I move to Dr. Lawrence. So what has been for you, if any, challenges in the few months that you've seen as the administrator?
I'm just working through attendance, and we've got it together now, but making sure that we separate the students that are there for the NDUA and the students that are there permanent. We've actually had some students that were supposed to return back to their schools. Their parents said that they wanted to stay, and it was fine with them. So we had to make some adjustments, with attendance and making sure that the home schools get the attendance.
Okay. And is there ever a time when those two groups of academies are together, or is it strictly separate for the whole day?
It is separate for the whole day. One day last week I did have them together with the UMADOC. I let them go into a room with them. I thought that would be a good addition to have those students over there.
Okay, I appreciate that. Over to Lawrence and probably Dr. Jones. I know you had an idea of what you wanted transportation to look like from the beginning. What does that look like now? How's it moving? Any challenges? Any perceived changes that you may have in the future?
Actually, start with Ms. Christian.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Transportation. So the secretary, when we get students, and she receives the either the referral or the in lieu of paperwork. If they are a middle schooler, she automatically emails the 4 designated people down to transportation for students to receive a bus. They let us know what the bus is and where they catch it, and they also send the information to the parent. So I think bus situation's going well.
Okay.
Transportation has 2 dedicated buses to the alternative school, so it makes routing a little bit quicker, easier once we get the information to them. So.
Okay. And right now with
the numbers that you're at? Dr. Lawrence, do you foresee trying to keep it around this number right now, or would that capacity possibly raise?
I just talked to Ms. Dooley, Mr. Simmons, and I was in the building. Ms. Christian was busy with the parent, but we see it expanding, but gradually. We're off to a really good start. So we want to keep it stable while we incrementally get larger, and then think about phase 2 for next year and then into the future.
All right, then I asked also, because one of the things we talked about was some of the difficulties that we're seeing in the other buildings where, because of how the process had been, you then have students that were recommended to be at the alternative school, and because they are not given that permission by their parents, they are now students that are in buildings where they know that they have been requested to be removed, but yet they're still in this building, and we've seen it create some situations. So with that and understanding that you want to try to scale up in a way that doesn't create chaos, how are we dealing with that situation, and do we see the recommendation process for the alternative school changing in the future?
So I think the model is, again, it's really cutting edge in this idea around trying to remove suspensions and use in lieu of. And there are parents who refuse that.
Right.
And then guess what? We'll go old school on you. And what that means, simply put, is if there's a 3-day suspension, then you do it. 5, 10, that's what you're going to do. We try our best. Ms. Christian does, so does the principals at the schools. Mr. Simmons, Ms. Goins reaches out and calls parents and says, listen, this is a great deal. You still get to get educated. And even if you get there a few days later, we take, like, while you're there, if you miss 3 and then you're there 7 more, we take those days off of your suspension, and it helps the district and from a attendance standpoint and the child in terms of not having chronic absenteeism. So I think it's just a matter of staying the course, Board Member Smith, so more parents begin to understand that this is really a positive, it's not a negative.
So, but I'm saying by staying the course, then you essentially have situations where now we have to still, in staying a course, making sure that we're working with communication, because what happens is you have people just months ago, we were told, and so principals were told, that there would be this tool, which I love, so I was a proponent for, but there would be this tool to help them deal with some of the situations that they're seeing. Now we see a drastic reduction of the number that they thought was going to be able to be over there. If you're looking at 22 high school students that are there, and then the other fluctuating numbers, we have to try to communicate and have that out. And I do think maybe it may be good to even have Ms. Christian or staff to come out to some of the high schools to talk to just parents of that building to understand what the building is about too. I would recommend that, because I can understand a parent going, I don't know much about this, I'm being told this is the option. And then also for the building, it creates that fluctuation of, we're trying to say we're moving away from suspensions, but we're still then going to suspend them if they don't agree to go to this space. So I think having that conversation would be vital in understanding that.
So the initial conversation, we said we had 140 seats. We didn't say we'd fill them all. We had several, we had several meetings with the middle school and high school principals to try to come up with numbers. We talked, one thing was to not do anything the first couple weeks and then to kind of ease into this. It's a work in progress. I happened to walk across a meeting being chaired by Ms. Christian, Mr. Simmons, and Ms. Dooley with all the other principals working on the intake process, what the referral forms looks like. So this is we continue to have a, what I want to say, a symbiotic relationship between the buildings and the work that Ms. Christian's doing and central services to try to work through the kinks.
Okay, now last week I asked if we could speak on what is the process for students that are over there in lieu, as far as them coming back over and being able to be caught up on their classwork, as our previous policy stated, that students, however many days they're out on suspension, and I asked if we can look into see if that language also includes in lieu. Do you have any information on that, Doc?
So we'll do two parts. I'll go to the practitioners and I'll come back and tell you from our level.
Okay.
Okay. So, Chief Sheehy and her department have been over to the school, almost every day for a couple of months, aligning the district curriculum with the, Apex and also, getting ready with the courseware that's coming up, so that when students come over, that we're able to get them started pretty much in the area that the teachers should be in, teaching the lessons. So we are definitely working on that, but what we have been doing is just using the pacing guide for Dayton Public Schools and starting students there.
And then on our end, we're asking department chairs, intervention specialists, and a few other key teacher personnel at the secondary level, what does it look like for you? What do you want to see from the student when they come back from Jackson Center? So we're working on this on all different angles.
Okay. Do you foresee us having to change our policy around the amount of days that a student has to have their work completed? Because I get being able to stay on track learning-wise, but also understanding if I'm a student and something happens, it gets sent out for some time, the work that I have to turn in, are we going to still allow them to have that same amount of time to turn in their work? Or does that change with it being in lieu and not a true suspension?
I'm glad you asked that, Board Member Smith. I think it's important I think we move too quickly with policy. Something happens and there's this knee-jerk reaction and boom, it's a policy. I think we have to work more toward regulation. So what I hear you saying is we have some existing policies. What are the regulations behind that policy? And how do we specifically tailor those for Jackson Center? And yes, I think we'll have to make some changes.
All right, yeah, because I think right now, some stories I've had, definitely also some concerns I've had. And then my last piece would be, so with the in lieu of piece, what does the process look like? Is it a building specific piece? Is it a district-wide approach that we're trying to go through? What does that piece look like on getting a student back into their home school after they've been over at Jackson? How's that been going? What are some of the things that you think are some key pieces that are working? And if there's anything that may need to be changed or something that may need to come to the board later, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I'm gonna take your question and add to it. Why don't we start from the time you walk in and then go from when you walk out?
Okay.
Okay. So when you walk in, you sit with me and have a conversation. We do an intake. I complete a form and I ask questions to the parent and to the student, talk to the student, ask them what happened, why they're here. Once we do that, then I have a conversation about just our school in general, what has been going on, what we're moving toward, what it looks like, ask if they have any questions as I'm speaking. And then just depending on the way the conversation goes with the parent, after that we create a schedule for the student depending on if they are an enrolled student or a non-enrolled student. And then they are taken to the class, introduced to the teacher and the students. And then they go to class.
And then once they're finished, it's time to go back?
So when it's time, excuse me, when it's time to go back, we meet with them to let them know that today's their last day. You know, have a conversation with them about that. And then we tell them that they are to report to school tomorrow. If they have completed work, sometimes the schools will come pick it up and I'll say, we'll get your work turned in, or I'll even scan the work in to a principal. Or the student will say, well, I'll just take it to the parent, it just depends. And then that's how we do the work. So.
And then there's a third step. So you're in, then out. Are you going to speak to them when you get back to the school?
Yeah, we're working on how can the services that you've benefited from at the Alternative Center follow you back to your school so that you can be successful in that space as well. So that's a conversation with OAC. That's a conversation with the healthcare providers. That's a conversation, that we got to have, making sure that our students who are successful here, those services follow you back to your school to prepare you and to make sure that you continue to be successful in that space. So that's the piece that we're really working to perfect.
And what I've seen, what I saw was I saw the assistant principal and counselor meeting with a student returning from Jackson Center and going over the schoolwork and the information sent from Jackson Center back to the school. And so I saw that in a conference room. We just need to, I don't know, I saw it, but I don't know it's happening in all of our 6 other high schools. We just need to figure out a way to systematize it. But again, we're just starting the process. I like where we are.
Okay. And Mr. Simmons, to follow up with that, has there been in your, if you can recollect or if you have the data, students that have gone in lieu of, come back, and then been sent out again? Have we seen that?
I think this is our first batch of students who were there enrolled that are starting to, matriculating back into schools. So, it's just a couple.
Just one.
Okay.
Just one has been back? Yeah. Okay. See, Ms. Christian knows.
Okay. Hey.
Her babies. Okay, yeah, 'cause I would like to, if we can keep that data and understand, kind of following what happens when we come back, so we can figure out if there, to your point, what does that services look like? What does that parent wraparound look like, or guardian, or whoever that student goes home to at night? Yeah, that's something big on my radar. I don't want. That's what I was thinking of seeing that. So, trying to think if I had anything else. Anything else? Well, this is an important thing.
It's so important.
Put some stuff into this. This is big time work.
Oh, no, we listen, I acknowledge the importance of it. I just want you to know that I know that when you ask questions, you already know the answer.
No, I don't, not all the time. That's why I ask these questions. When I ask you a question, I know the answer. When I ask them, I'm trying to learn some things. So, with the middle school and high school, how's that been working with keeping everything separate? How's that been kind of working for you, Ms. Christian?
It's working out well. They have their own separate lunchtime. Now, once in a while, we'll take a break and go outside. We don't have a gym. They all go out together, but they play football with the therapist, counselor, security guards. So we're building a family, we're building a culture here. When we go and do that, So other than that, they have their own classes that they attend and their own lunch periods.
Okay, appreciate that. And Mr. Simmons, lastly for you, what in your space, in your perspective, has been just a key takeaway that you've seen over here that you would want to see implemented in other buildings?
I think the utilization and the combination of the services, that are available to kids. With each building has a profile or a jacket of services available, but I want to make sure in my space that we're working that everyone's taking advantage of the mental health services that the district offers across the board.
I appreciate that. Appreciate both of you. Thank you, Ms. Christian. Always a pleasure to have you come out.
Ms. Christian, I have a question for you. I'm sorry. I was wondering, because let's say somebody got suspended, right? Let's say they got suspended for like 10 days. Would they go do 10 days at home, then 10 days at the Jackson? Because I know somebody that said they got suspended for 10 days, then they had to go to the Jackson, but I don't know if he was lying about it or not.
No, you should only be suspended up to 10 days. So, no, they should not do 10 days at home and 10 days at Jackson.
Okay. That was all I had.
Thank you.
Mr. Walker, are principals allowed to suspend for 10 days?
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, that wasn't it. That was.
Oh, go ahead.
Ms. Wick had one?
Yes, she's got
Oh, go ahead, Ms. Wick.
First of all, thank you. I continue to I'm so reflective of being grateful for the work that we're doing here at Dayton Public Schools to introduce this new concept of an alternative, we're giving families and students the opportunity to come to a different place to receive additional services that they need. I recently attended a meeting with leadership locally that reflected that our local urban areas and our jails are 67% of our people that are imprisoned are a result of mental health illness, and that we at Dayton Public Schools are taking proactive measures to subsidize that before it happens, before our students are incarcerated, or we're really servicing those needs. So I'm so grateful, honestly, and I know it's work in progress and it's building and we have a lot of questions and interests, but in the world that we live in today, in an urban environment, it's 2025 and we have a lot of opportunities to do better. So I'm so excited about the work, I really am, and I think that it's going to be a wonderful program for our community to give that. Like, we also give a place for our students in other buildings that behavior may be disruptive, that we can continue learning in more productive ways while we remove those students and those families to receive the services that they need in more productive ways, so that we're doing our work. So I'm super grateful. I'm grateful for the board, and and Will, thank you for your thoughtful questions as we move through the process to develop this, because I think it is cutting edge, honestly. I really do. I don't think that there are many districts around that are using this tool to really provide deeper services. So I'm grateful. So that's all I want to say. Thank you. And thank you for your attention. Thank you. Yes, amen.
Mr. Walker?
Okay, thank you. So the students who remain at Jackson who are seniors, Dr. Lawrence, I believe we asked this months ago, so I just want to follow up. Is that a separate graduation, or how does that entire process end up working out? Do they remain the entire senior year, or do they go back to the science school, or what happens?
I'm gonna have one senior, and he goes back in March, but we did a graduation checklist with him, and we've talked with the counselor to make sure that he's on track and make sure that he has everything that he needs. He's never failed a class since he's been at Dayton Public Schools, so he is on track for graduation.
Right now, you hold the record of graduating an entire senior class, so I look forward to it. And then Dr. Lawrence.
The IRN, he's something else, man. The board member Walker, the IRN was not submitted by Associate Superintendent Lisa Minor as a graduation school at this time.
Okay.
So back to your home school.
So perfect. And then that kind of leads to my other question I have for you.
We went over your limit of one, but go ahead.
I did say I have one. So
that's all right, Mr. Walker. Proceed.
With regards to testing for students, is that data its own separate building now, or is that now just that student back at that home school again?
So that's back to the home school. We don't have a lot of tests anymore. I heard that last night at the board
candidates night.
Thank you, candidates night last night, about a lot of testing. We have 3 MAP tests. There's OST, which is mandatory in the late winter, early spring, and then there's AP. So we don't have a lot of testing. We do some PSAT, ACT, but in terms of a bunch of testing, we do 3 MAP scores, and we can, those are assigned to the kid at the building.
Perfect. Okay. Last question I have for Dr. Jones and Dr. Lawrence. I know that the director of nursing is filling in as the nurse of the building. As the students' enrollment increases, will there be an actual nurse there assigned, or will he remain in that role? And then for Dr. Jones, I know that there's currently 1 food service person that's at the building. Again, as the student enrollment grows, is it now looking at more staffing into that facility, or how does that work out?
I will go first and say that we are -5 FTEs for nurses.
Okay.
So to answer your question, that is the plan. Once we get up to full FTE capacity with nurses, we are actively working to fill that space.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for that question, sir. Basically, we do have one there, but we rotate other food service workers into the building. However, if the numbers get exceedingly high, then we'll definitely dedicate more staff to that kitchen.
Okay. And since you're up here, with the 2 buses in the routing, how does that actually work with routing students? So is that next day they're now getting routed, or what's that process look like?
2 days. 2 days. 2 to 3 days.
So what happens in that time frame of those 2 to 3 days of them waiting to get routed?
In some cases, we go ahead and just still transport them. We have vans. We try to work as quickly as possible routing and get them in a bus so we can get them in a class.
Okay, thank you.
I just got 2 questions. One. Yeah. If a student has to go over to the alternative school in lieu of suspension, are they able to still play sports?
That was a great question. I like that question. That was a great question.
You want to get signed to that?
So I'm gonna answer that as a former high school principal. I think the answer for me is yes. You're still in my building. I'm your home school. It can serve as an incentive for you to remain on the academic and behavior track while you're at Jackson Center. Because you are in lieu of suspension and not suspended, I think that you should have every opportunity to participate in sports.
Okay. We'll talk about that later.
Sure.
And,
he had a follow-up to what Dr. Mark said.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I mean, like, in lieu of suspension, I mean, that kind of can go 50-50. But what about in lieu of expulsion?
Those are not the same. Those are not the same. They're markedly different. Expulsion means you are remanded to another school, actually, for anywhere up to 180 days. Actually, the superintendent, I think, can do more than that. So they're very different. If your expulsions are level 3 offenses, we're talking weapons, physical acts of assault that could be, physical acts of assault that are really serious, theft, depending on what it is, with level 3 violations that you won't be playing sports here in Dayton Public Schools.
my other question is, I know what UMADOP is, but for the public, could you tell them what UMADOP is and how they're helping our students?
Okay, they work with drug and alcohol assessments with our students, and they actually have someone that comes over on Fridays, and they have a curriculum that is outlined. I was able to choose between 2, and I selected the ones where most of our students are being sent over to the building for the excessive vaping, not attending classes and those things. So that's what's going on right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Casey.
That's it.
Hey, got a hand.
Oh, you?
Is that for me?
I had a few more. No. Hey, I mean, it's what we're here for. It's the business. With the current staffing capacity, have we had situations, or do we foresee situations where a student may be requested to go to the alternative school in lieu, but we do not have space? Like, is there a hard cap on the number of students right now that we will allow middle school and high school principals to send over to the alternative school, Dr. Morris?
We don't have anything hard at all at Jackson Center other than the systems around intake, the systems around mental health, social emotional awareness, as Board Member Wick spoke about. That's a huge thing for us. You heard the curriculum team is there daily. They are serious about making sure that the kids have a really robust curriculum, that they're there not just as a holding center, but that we're actually teaching. And so those things are in stone for us. But there are lots of other things, Board Member Smith, that this is year 1. And we just kind of started this charge this summer, and there are things that we're not sure about right now.
Yeah, because that is my question, because I think for us figuring it out on the early side as we build would be good. Even looking at right now, what is that? So my thing is the whole triangulation of the family at home, Jackson, and then the homeschool. So if I'm in a building and I have 5 students that I would have up for suspension. And so this is a marked difference if all 5 go to Jackson or if all 5 have parents that say, no, I'm not giving you permission to send them to Jackson. So I think this probably is the best time to figure out what does that truly look like before we try to ramp up, in my opinion, because that is the feedback that I get and I hear is that that process creates consternation because we have to then figure out what are we just then sending this child home and then they come back into our building with the same issues? Am I upping the level of issues in a classroom? Because that was one of the root causes of having this, was talking with principals and staff that were trying to figure out some of the help from some of the behaviors that we see in the community with the just myriad of issues we have being in the urban environment. What does that look like for us creating that process? Are we doing something now while we're building it up? Because I get this is new, but the best time to figure out what our processes and strategies are going to be is while it's new. If we wait longer and kick it down the road, then we'll have a situation where we then have a building in a couple of years and not knowing what we're going to do with it. So I do think trying to figure that piece out for me is going to be really huge because it's going to have to be a point where we go, either we are going to change a student's assignment at some point if there is an issue. Are we moving towards intent to expel if there's continued issues? Because it just won't work the way we talked about. And that was one of the things I did have a flag on, is just, I don't have to go. Like, I'm a parent, I don't have to go. But then I have to deal with the suspension, and then we keep the same thing, and then we're not in this space of trying to get rid of suspensions. So I just think I wanted to lift that part up because I had some people reach out and talk to me about some of the issues they had saw. So I do think that this is the time to really, really hone in on that, hone in on, as you said, the regulations, because I don't think we need to have all new policies. I think the policies are in place that are good. As I looked at them, I do think the regulations that need to be in place to govern kind of what happens, and then also having real talks with family members about, hey, this is the option, but it's not a, you either go over here or your child goes back to class. Because that is also where you don't want to have people have that piece. And I do agree with the in lieu of and still being able to be involved in extracurriculars. I do still give rights to that coach, and that principal. I do think that's that leeway. Coaches still can always say, I'm sitting you down. Same way they could if a kid got suspended and come back for 5 days. They're still on the team if they were in the building.
Same thing.
So I'm with that, and I appreciate you having that. I think that's going to be it. If I don't, I'll see you over there.
Okay, so I did have a question.
Walker going to make me have questions now.
No, this is it. We can close it after this. If you are out, or the Ford NGL piece, because no principal have gotten pulled there, what's the admin in the building at that point?
Nikki Taylor is there. She's amazing. She has an admin license, has extensive background with students with special needs. And also, Mr. Simmons has covered the building sometimes half a day, while Ms. Christian is at Ford NGL.
Also, there are multiple staff that come from the OEC department daily also, and so they are in the building also. I have somebody from there every day.
All right, thank you.
Professionally licensed, with principals.
Who's licensed?
Some of the folks in OEC, they're able to cover the building as principals as well. So we just split it up, map it out, one of the dates, and we make sure that it's covered adequately.
So how do they cover a building if we have not hired them as an administrator in the district in that capacity?
They just have to have a license. If we assign them there for the day, they're capable of carrying out administrative duties per the OAC.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like if I went to a building, same thing.
You are not in that anymore. You were past that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, sir. Thank you. We do I did see Ms. Winfrey come in. Do you have anything from the bargaining unit?
Can I sit in this chair? Good evening. Y'all know my statement.
Good evening.
Amen. Hope y'all can hear me. I'm a little hoarse this afternoon, this evening, and I wasn't hollering at my students. Protocol is going to be established properly entailed. But I do need to speak. Good to see you, Dr. Bailey, Superintendent Dr. Lawrence. Good to see all of you board members. I'm here with major concerns in Transportation Department. Major concerns about our routes, major concerns about how our department is being ran, major concerns about the things that's not getting completed and fixed in our department. I have 3 areas that I really want to discuss with you about the situations that we have going on in the transportation. Also dealing with mostly, because since I am Marie R. Winfrey, Local 627, School Bus Driver Union President. If anyone didn't know, you do know now. Thank you. So to talk about the issues that we're having with our drivers and things of that nature. I want to really start. I brought a lot of things with me so you can see where we stand and the things that is going on right now. This here is where our routes. I remember sending an email or incorporating you board members in an email that I sent directly to Dr. Marvin Jones about our routes back in September, how we see that our routes were wrong. We got overlaps in our routes, overloads in our routes, picking up kids on the wrong side. We had routes where we had that they didn't have the correct information. We also had that the information that we was seeking for, or more or less our times, didn't match up. Time changes were constantly being done, and things that's even state requirements was being omitted, including us doing our pre-trips. You're removing our time to be able to start a route, and we don't have time to do a pre-trip, which is a state law, and it's also in our contract. We have these issues that was going on. Our routes being changed because it's not even accommodating what the driver picked at route pick, which was done in August. And we still have these same situations going on today. Seems like we're not progressing forward and moving forward in our department to make things complete. We had a meeting with Dr. Goodwine, Dr. Jones, also Mr. Brandon Calhoun, who's over routing at this time, and we had a meeting down here at the board, speak about how we can make the changes and make the routes efficient. This was done back in July, and as today, we were supposed to vet these routes, pick 5 drivers or 5 persons to be able to vet, and we incorporated also the pairs in transportation. That did not take place. That is some of the reason why our routes are off the chain. Our routes are driving us all over the city of Dayton, Kettering, West Carrollton, Moraine, Huber Heights, and some other areas. We have no consistency how the routes should be when we picking up our students. Give me just a second. I'm gonna show you what I went through when we first started trying to get these routes vetted. And we seen the errors of the routes at the beginning before school even started. This is a stack. This is not even all the routes. I vetted all those routes myself. I also sent some of the information over to you board members, including also our transportation management staff. And you can see the errors. These are not all of the routes. But each one of these routes, including some of the drivers that are here today, have routes in here, still have not been fixed. And some of these routes, these are just small, minute. We had 107 routes that was put together, including, I'm adding on the 14 extra board, that makes 121 routes. We had 154 drivers as of in August when we started. So where those other drivers are, they were implemented as extra board drivers also. But we have all these routes, we have all these drivers, less routes, but we have all these overlaps. You got school and mine incorporated also. This is just one step. And I'm not gonna take it out, but this is my route by itself. Since August, I'm missing 3 because I just got 2 new ones yesterday. That my route is 440. I do 2 schools. I have schools in the morning. I have to be done, and my one school does not go in until 7:10. But you're asking me to start another school at 6:47, and I haven't completely finished and picking up my first school and dropping them off. That is just not my route. That is a lot of ours at that compound transportation that has not been completed and fixed. We don't even receive notifications when our routes are being changed. As I was leaving the compound this evening, I looked at the mailboxes, and just about every mailbox has a route sheet, new one, in there, and we just received new ones Monday. We're not understanding why the process that we always having changes in our routes, and parents is not being notified. Students do not know what bus they're going to be getting on. I don't see the increase also in our enrollment, and I have seen some of the other things, decreases, and some changes in our enrollment. We understand we have to add, we understand we have to remove, we understand that part, but why is it so much of an intake of it that it cannot be fixed? We came into it where it's a solution that did not be resolved. We brought a solution to our management team, and they did not follow with us and go with the resolution that we can resolve this situation. That's why I'm standing here today stating where we feel, how we feel about how our routes and how things are not being changed. I can't speak about the other things that pertains to arbitration and grievances, but I can speak about how we are filing issues and complaints against the things that we cannot see. We understand today that Mr. Calhoun is our routing director. He's over routing, he's also over payroll, he's also over logistics specialists. 3 different major areas that's in the transportation department. As I spoke to Mr. Craig Anderson, maybe he's a little overloaded that he cannot get the rest of the work done that needs to be done in certain situations as these routes. This is very tedious that our students do not have consistency in their routes. We also have issues where we requested, when you're saying that we're collaborating and integrating our students with our regular students and our special needs students, that we also ask in our professional development to please bring in someone to assist us drivers to be able to handle the things that goes on with these special needs students. We haven't had that done correctly or haven't done that yet. That request has been made since August, and we still haven't done it. We had PD just yesterday, and we still haven't had anything done pertaining to that. We have a lot of people, our young people, students, had a driver this afternoon even stated, 486, that she has a student that's in a harness and a vest, and that the student that sits behind her, because she have an overloaded bus, is always constantly pulling on the vest of the student that's sitting in front and the harness. That is not just the only driver that has been complaining. We really don't have enough pairs, but if we have regional routes, we will be able to handle our students that have special needs and put regular students and our special needs students together. As you're saying, we're collaborating and integrating them as y'all do in the school. We have no problem with that, but bring us the right tools to be able to handle them. We have a problem with that because we don't have the tools, the learning that we need to have to be able to handle these students as they handle them in the building. As you stated, the students that's in the building, they're supposed to go with the same thing, go with the transportation on the bus. Same behavior, same way. We don't want to cause any kind of conflict of that student to have any type of discomfort. That is what you consider as customer service. That's what we're looking at, that we need to receive and change, but our routes needs to be changed. I heard this morning also, we are not going to have our route pick that we decided on in a meeting, Dr. Lawrence, Dr. Jones, Dr. Benson Taylor, in a meeting that we have, and now they got to me today that that has changed, and we're not going to be having that new route pick per the director. So, with that being said, we have some issues from day one that needs to be fixed pertaining to our routes and transporting our students. Things are not going well, and we still have in our stead no confidence in our managing staff. That is still in place, and we still go ready to enforce it. Also, some other things I need to speak about, and one of them I just said about the professional development. We've had in-services and professional development days, but we're missing the mark on that. I've looked at some of the ones of the other departments where they have things that they do to help them with the tools and the knowledge to make their job smoother, work things out differently in the other departments, including the teachers. We are missing that. We do not have professional development to help us and the things that will make it better for us to transport our students safely. Previous years, we've been here, we've always had certain videos or certain people come and speak to us about certain things pertaining to our students. We know mental health is a situation today, but they don't bring too many people over to talk to us about the mental health. The last person to talk to us about the mental health issues was the nurse, practitioner nurse at our in-service. Those things happen because even the drivers go through those situations. We're dealing with students in all capacity. All capacity. We're dealing with drivers in all capacity on the road. We're dealing with road rage. We're dealing with all capacity on the road. We have a lot that we deal with, making sure our children get off at the designated place of safety and the stop. You need to understand, and the confusion that we do have in certain area of these routes, constantly changing, and our parents is not really looking at the management staff, they're looking at that bus driver. Where things are not being done, they're accusing that bus driver of how things are not progressing, moving forward. That's my next step. Last one, third one, hopefully we could get this resolved. We said that we were not being able to go into the service building, and it was a temporary statement to fix that. But the problem we have, our badges does not work over at the service building. And the thing is, you're asking us, our management staff, to come over to the service building. Don't ring the bell, but call the receptionist, office manager sitting there to call the offices. I did that. And they called and no one picked up because no one was there. Matter of fact, Mr. Walker was coming down and he seen me waiting out there because I was on my way going into a labor management meeting, and he opened the door for me. I asked him a question to please fix this situation to see why we cannot come over here in the service building to see our managerial staff, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Gray, Mr. Brandon Calhoun, come and see them, the coordinators, and coming in when we supposed to be going to see them, but they're not at their desk, but you're telling us, you're our transportation department, and you're over in the service building, and we over in the transportation center. I remember when the issue came to renovate the center, transfer centers, we're supposed to have been having a second floor where our management staff will be able to be there with us. We wouldn't be a divided department. We are a divided department. We have management in the service building and the rest of us over at transportation. You cannot lead in a different area that you're supposed to be leading. You need to be in the same location where things can run smoothly and we can collaborate and work things together. We should not be able to have to call and ring a bell to get access to you since you are management leaders. That's an issue and that's a problem, and I think we need to resolve that. We still haven't heard, and I know it's a temporary thing, but we still locked out. Our badges, transportation department workers are still locked out of the service building. I know I'm going to get a rebuttal. It's okay. It's okay. But the question is, if we're all the same and we all work in the same district and we all supposed to be part of the same district, we should not be locked out of a district building. I still have access to get into the schools. How come I cannot access to get into talk to one of my staff when there's a need or turn a paper in? I thank y'all for the opportunity to allow to hear me and the concerns we have over in the transportation department. We still stand with the no confidence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Winfrey, I did have you referenced the email. I did not get an email, so if you can
Yes, you
forward
did.
that to, no, I just pulled up the two that you sent me, and it was not the one that you referenced.
I didn't send.
No, so if you can just send me that one,
I'll forward it to you.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Winfrey, for your comments. Let's get started. Superintendent's personnel agenda, A through G. For a vote, please.
So moved.
Second.
Take time to look at them. You already have it? All right. Questions?
I did, yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Walker.
So last year, Dr. Lawrence, the instructional leader was a first-time thing. What exactly went into that role for those teachers, and what was the expectation? What was the deliverables where they met? And what's the intent this year with that going forward?
You said instructional leader, which one are you on?
I may have classified it differently, but
F?
Yeah,
You
on
on
the
F?
instructional leader for parent and family engagement.
Gotcha. Oh, so those leaders, when we have meetings with parents, they're able to explain what we're doing academically, the core goals of the academic action plan, and also underneath that, you just see general parent engagement activities that we by law are mandated to have. And then when you said outcomes, you've been watching from when you were out in the audience, and you've been now sitting on the dais. We change those yearly. I will get with you and get with Ms. Minor and Ms. Goins and say what are those core outcomes this year for this year.
Perfect, thank you. I did have another one on here.
On F?
No, not on F.
Okay.
On the administrative appointment. So for HR, does this now fully complete the staff in HR? Is there still openings there? So this is it. These were that. Perfect. Okay. And then my last question is, oh, sorry. Okay. So one more. Is that a generalist one? Got it. Okay. They said that one was. Got it. Okay. And then I was going to ask Mr. Rayford if we can table his retirement to like December of 2026, or is it definite June 2026?
He looking around like, what? Huh? He said, no.
No, but I do want to thank you for your service to Dayton Public Schools over all these years. I think it's been really beneficial, and I think whoever comes in next will have some very big shoes to fill going forward.
Board Member Walker, thanks for catching that and acknowledging that. 2 seconds. Everybody has a nickname. His is the Legend. We're going to miss you. The Legend. The Legend. Find an email from 1963. See, Dr. Lawrence, what happened was...
You done?
I am. Thank you.
Jocelyn?
Thank you. I just have a question, follow-up question for the 4F, the supplementals extra duty. The instructional leader for parent and family engagement, is that the same thing as Title I? That is a Title I role? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. That is all I have.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, so, start at the bottom, work my way up. See Chief Jones over there. I was gonna ask Chief Jones, with the supplementals for athletics on here, that puts you in a good space in your estimation coming into the winter season?
Good evening. We are doing good with our openings. I think right now we are still looking for a swim coach. We had one that flaked us, but we have a lot of kids trying to swim, so if there's a swim coach out there, we need you. And then we have a few openings for girls wrestling too, so.
For those that may be listening, could you give people the difference that we have with our swim participation rules for sports like that versus like basketball and wrestling?
So with our individual sports, in general, they can represent their school, but still be coached by another school. So essentially, we've been having opponents and stivers, and our other schools go and participate with the coaches, but when they compete, they represent their schools.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you, Chief Jones.
Thank you.
ma'am. And I'm going to move to, I would like to vote on, there's a couple of them I had questions for. If I could have some questions in an executive session for everything but A2 on A, I would appreciate that. And then I would also briefly like to echo Mr. Walker's sentiments on our brother Rick Rayford. Definitely appreciate serving with you and just all the stories I've been able to hear. Rick Rayford also worked with both my parents in his previous career, so we always have some good stories to share, and he's been able to share a lot of things about my parents that I did not know. So I'm eternally grateful for some of the things that he shared with me. It lets me know I get some of my fussiness honestly, so it lets me know that that worked out well. But we will definitely miss you, and we look forward to celebrating your time here at a later date. So appreciate you, my brother. Then also, I had a question around, if I can find it again, because I just clicked something. Nah, I'll just ask you about that one, Dr. Lawrence, later date.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, Dr. Davis. Okay, I know we go through this every time. The long-term sub number, is that certified teachers and long-term subs lumped in as one, or is that broken into separate? Like on the budgeted information? Okay. Oh, sorry. David? So on the budgeted information, it says, what is this, like long-term subs, actual field 917, position budgeted 928. Does that include certified teachers as well? Like, is that being lumped in together as teachers as a whole is 928, or is those two separate line items, for instance?
Could you come to the mic? Could you come to the mic?
You looking at C?
Yeah, well, I was looking at the budgeted information, so.
Yeah, C, is it like C2, C3?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I could double check with you. I'm assuming that's DEA and long-term subs. Certified teachers and long-term subs.
And then while you're up here, the substitute bus para.
Say the letter for me.
I'm still on the budget sheet, so on I, on superintendent recommendations, I. On the budget sheet for substitute bus paras, it does not have an actual field or positions budgeted. So is there a cap on that? I see it's an actual budgeted amount, but I don't see that there's a number for that.
You said substitute bus pairs?
Yeah. So essentially it would be E2, but on on that budget sheet that Andrew gives us.
Yeah, I see E2.
Yeah, it doesn't have an actual field or positions budgeted, like number there.
That I have to get back to you on. I don't know that right now.
All right, thank you.
I don't need to actually vote on them separately, just want to speak to them separately in executive session, that's all.
So you want to vote on everything?
Except A.
A2.
Well, set,
No, yeah, except everything but A2 in there. So A2 plus everything else.
okay, so you want to table A1 and then 3 through 7 till after exec?
Yes.
Okay. So when we vote, currently, we are only voting on superintendent's, it's superintendent's personnel agenda B. It's actually B2 instead of A2.
Right, it should be B2.
When you click on it, it says A2.
Yeah. So we're voting on B through G together minus A2. No, B through G together
Plus A2.
plus A2.
Bingo.
Okay.
It's a referendum. We're voting on the record, but the rest of it needs to talk about.
Yeah, so A1, 3 through 7 is pulled to after exec. A2 we're voting on now. I think that the A is throwing me off because it's actually B.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm ready. All right. Mr. Lacy?
No, I don't have any.
No, I was on the vote, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes.
I was calling for the vote. So Mr. Lacy?
Yes.
Ms. Reiner?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey, Dr. Bailey, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Ms. Witt?
She's not here.
Oh, Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Walker votes yes, and Mr. Champion?
Yes.
Do you know what you're voting on?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me ask you.
Okay, so 5 yeses. 6 yeses, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then A1, 3 through 7 for after exec.
Yes, I do. I'd like for the board to vote for a recommendation for vote HR Resources DEA after July 10th.
So moved?
Second.
Second by Ms. Reinhardt.
Yes, it was second, motion by Mr. Lacy, second by Ms. Reiner.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Lacy?
Yes. Or I'm sorry, no. I'm going to change that to no.
Ms. Reiner?
No.
Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Dr. Bailey?
No.
Walker votes yes, and Mr. Champion?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that is 3 noes, 3 yeses.
3 noes, 2 yeses.
Yeah, so
Symbolic.
3 noes, 2
yeses.
So it doesn't, motion fails?
Oh, no, he got this.
It's throwing me off because other people not here, so it's
That's
like-
right.
But okay, so I think we're at a crossfire because the motion failed, so.
It is.
So let's continue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she.
Gotcha, they got
Told him left
it.
that.
Dr. Bailey, the motion fails, so we're gonna go to budget information. I'd ask the board members to take a look at that, and if they have any questions, we'll take them. I think Board Member Walker already asked one.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good?
Yep.
Any other questions?
Not on budget.
All right. Board Member Bailey, we didn't make any changes from last week's review session for contracts, consultants, and resolutions. Do you mind taking those together, and we can answer any questions individually, if you like?
I'll make a
So
motion.
moved. Oh, well.
Second.
Yep, no changes.
For A, B, and C together.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Mr. Lacy motion, then you second.
Second.
All right, Mr. Lacy?
I had questions.
Oh, what questions do you got?
Man, I just had a follow-up question from something last week. Dr. Lawrence, with those Dayton Performing Arts Alliance pieces, I mentioned it the other day, what parental helps are we gonna put around there to kind of let parents know what are we doing around this? I know we've increased the level of communication that we give out to our community, especially with something like this that we're really bringing in and the work that went into it. How are we planning to kind of get that out, get the word out, and kind of gauge interest for parents' involvement in those things?
Well, one, I think you just approved and voted for parent-family community engagement title liaisons at each building. Two, I know the elementary principals, every Wednesday, they send out information to all the elementary school parents in the district, and so I'm sure it's updated there. Three, PIO sends these out, and then I know for a fact that there is a campaign coming from the Associate Superintendent's Office to champion this work, and there's also a survey coming from the curriculum office asking parents about their level of interest. I know that Dr. Bailey, Board Member Reiner, and Board Member Walker all spent time with Ms. Minor. Thank you, Dayton Foundation, for providing the resources for them to travel and coming up with the idea that one art school was not appropriate for Dayton Public, but in fact, having art experiences for all kids in elementary was important. So I know they have a comprehensive plan for that.
Appreciate that,
No problem.
that. And then I'll talk to you offline about the DC piece, and you're seeing some of the differences between that, and then fleshing that out with like the summer program that we had over at Stuyvesant last year.
Yeah, gotcha.
We'll talk about that offline, all right?
All right.
I can get that one. I did want to mention while we're looking at those, Dr. Lawrence and Dr. Jones both, in line with some of the people that came out and spoke today, one of the properties that was brought up, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't that one that you two gentlemen had brought to us before as well, when we talked about, coincidentally enough, the alternative school?
Yes.
You go ahead, I'll follow you.
We visited the school building, Rick, myself. I think Ms. Powell also went at an earlier date. The going price on the property was, I think, 1.5 at the time, but that was last school year.
And going back further, Ms. Powell's been twice. She was there initially when I was the business manager. She and I went to that property, and so we've been out there on two separate occasions. I know I had conversations with the owner, actually both the owners, but was never able to bring that to the board for fruition from a project standpoint, because we just hadn't worked with the academic side yet to determine what we're going to do with Kaiser. Kaiser is our largest elementary on the east side. Is that right, Ms. Spurlock? Yep, it's the largest one on the east side. And we're actively working. Listen, this is an opportunity, Board Member Smith, for you gave me an opportunity to say, look, our K through 7, and I believe soon to be K through 8 expansion at River's Edge is working. When we did parent surveys at Eastmont and Cleveland, those parents want to stay big time. Kaiser parents, we're probably losing 100 kids or more because we just don't have the space. 100 kids at 20,000 plus, you do the math. So that's a hot spot for us in terms of growth. And we've got to figure out a way, whether it's through moving Challenger somewhere else and placing kids in those 4 or 5 additional classrooms that will be there, or if it's purchasing a property and using that as K-1-2 for Kaiser, some version of that. I worked as an elementary principal in buildings where 2 through 5, 2 through 6. But Ms. Spurlock and her team are looking at all those different options, but we've got to figure something out in that space.
Yeah, I'd also like to add, that building would not be a good building for a school per se. The way it's kind of laid out. Challenger Center, that's a different thing. We did, when we went into the building, we were viewing it from a additional school space standpoint. I don't believe it would be good for that. However, for the Challenger Center, possibility.
Appreciate that. I was on my mind from that. And
You're talking
appreciate
about
them coming
the
in.
Baltimore?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's like right in the middle of
Yeah.
the park. Yeah,
I've been there.
it's right over there. Appreciate that. What's one? So you guys be bringing stuff to us sometimes. I'm good. Appreciate it, Dr. Bailey.
Thank you, sir. Also, let the record reflect that Karen Wick left at 6:21.
Dr. Lawrence, can I ask why they're separate? Oh, never mind. No. So there's 3 on there for contracts, but then there's one on here for, there's one on here for a contract. The others 3 are here for consultant services. So they're not providing the same services essentially? Because the description basically is them doing the same thing, or is it because their amount is different, or?
Those
no?
are different vendors. And based on our, based on the amounts, looks like those are all over 15. Let me see how much this one is.
Don't worry about it. I'll ask offline.
Okay, all right.
All right, so for the vote, Mr. Lacy?
Yes.
Ms. Reiner?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Bailey?
Yes.
Walker votes yes. Mr. Champion?
Yes.
All right, 6 yeses.
That concludes my recommendation, Vice President, Dr. Bailey.
Thank you, sir. Treasurer's recommendations?
I think you can do that part.
We want to do A through E?
Okay.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
I recommend the approval of A through E on the treasurer's recommendations.
Moved by Mr. Lacy, second by Mr. Walker.
Questions?
Was that A through E?
A through E?
A through E, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
For the vote.
Any questions?
I have no questions.
Okay.
Mr. Lacy?
Yep.
Yes.
Ms. Reiner?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Bailey?
Yes.
Walker votes yes. Mr. Champion?
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
Nice.
That was nice.
Business
That was-
manager's,
That was pretty nice. Mr. Riley?
Thank you, Vice President Dr. Bailey. I recommend ratification of the 2 contracts, AT&T and Education Framework.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Lacy, second by Ms. Reiner. No questions? All right. This is just the contract.
One comment. With the education framework, if Dr. Jones, once that gets rolling, you can bring back a presentation. It can be an executive if there are any privacy concerns. But let us know kind of the update of how that's moving and is being successful.
Oh, most definitely. I'd love to. Yes, sir.
Appreciate that, sir. That's all I have.
That's it?
Mr. Lacy?
Yes.
Ms. Reiner?
Yes.
Dr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Walker votes yes. Mr. Champion?
Yes.
6 yeses.
I also recommend approval, ratification of the 48-hour waiver to present the following settlement agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Walker, second by Ms. Reiner.
Questions?
Mr. Lacy?
Yes.
Ms. Reiner?
Yes.
Dr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Walker votes yes. Mr. Champion?
Yes.
6 yeses.
Okay, I now recommend ratification of the aforesaid settlement agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Walker, second by Dr. Bailey.
Questions?
Mr. Lacy?
Paul?
Yes.
Ms. Reiner?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Bailey?
Yes.
Walker votes yes. Mr. Champion?
Yes.
6 yeses.
Conclusion? Policy. Second reading, resolution adoption of board policies, rationale. Inasmuch as the Board of Education is committed to the continual updating of its policies, rules, and regulations manual, and the committee which was appointed has been worked toward that goal, the following is brought at this time for second reading in compliance with the board file. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Dayton City School District, Montgomery County, Ohio, hereby accepts and adopts the following policies that have been codified for inclusion in the Handbook of Policies, Rules, and Regulations. GCI, Professional Staff Assignments and Transfers, which is a new policy. JECBB, Admission of Inter-District Transfer Students, revised to align with legislation. JED, Students' Absences and Excuses, revised to align with legislation. JEDA, Truancy, revised to align with legislation. JEDC, Religious Expressions Days, new policy.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Walker, second by Dr. Bailey.
I do have one thing.
Question.
Yes, with JEDA, truancy, Dr. Lawrence, I do possibly think there is some, in my mind, I'm thinking there's a way that this conversation should also be couched in the framework of the alternative school. Just wanted to broach you on that, since you have it up as a policy.
Thanks a lot, Board Member Walker. We will add that to the other policies around attendance, and we're doing our AI kind of summary to see what overlaps are as we move toward adding regulations to pieces around in lieu of suspension. We will get back with you on that. Actually, I think you were at policy last week, weren't you?
No, I was not.
Oh, finance.
Yes, I was
Finance,
there.
you were at finance.
Yes.
I didn't ask the question, Mr. Smith did, but I appreciate the acknowledgement.
Oh, that's right.
Thought you mean?
Twins.
He did. Oh, I did have a question as well. Dr. Lawrence, can you speak to the policy GCI and where that fits? Like, how does this differ from like the bargaining union agreements and things like that?
So, per OSBA, and this is giving superintendents broad lateral authority. I know you've been following it. There's actually been, at the state level, kind of an, this is a strong word, attack, but really pushing back on unions and some of the rights that are part of their collective bargaining agreement. So this broadens and expands the superintendent's authority to assign and reassign teachers. I do want to say that definitely honor collective bargaining agreements. In fact, we're starting that process early. Ms. Winfrey was in the room when we asked our legal team to work with us to begin the bargaining with the 12, I think it's 12 this year. Everybody except for DA start that process early, and we value that contract language. I know for a fact. I have lots of conversations with them about honoring those contracts, and so it would not be in my purview to consistently or on purpose kind of undermine the CBAs. There are extreme circumstances when I think kids are first, and sometimes there's some barriers there. But overall, I still believe in CBAs, but I think this language is comports with what we're trying to do in terms of making assignments relevant for our kids.
All right, thank you.
So, we will, and following with that, how are we making sure that this, in giving that broad discretion, that we are still following our contracts and agreements that we have with our bargaining units?
I mean, we have a situation right now where we have teachers who have teacher contracts who are essentially teachers on special assignment here who are intervention specialists. We have a broad need for them in the buildings right now. It's the beginning of the second quarter, and we're going to move them to those buildings that have a really huge need for ISs based on their background and based on their assignments. So we alerted the DEA president. We also have at the international school a significant reduction in the number of students there. We think it's because of national policies around immigration, and so do my colleagues in the other Ohio 8 in terms of immigrant families coming and those leaving because of fear. And so we have a significant reduction there this year with class sizes that are less than 20. And so we're packaging up some teachers there and reassigning them. And all of this has been done with the communication and collaboration, 2 of the 5 C's, with the board, with the DEA president.
Okay. Well, one, glad you are having those pre-conversations. I think those is the biggest thing, is making sure that the conversations are had, communications are had, and it allows people to get out any frustrations they may have, any concerns on the front end. So I appreciate that, and I think that's that way to come together and figure that we all are supposed to be here for the betterment of our children. So we can figure that out all together. We'll be good on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna add one more piece to that. There's another, while I have you, there's another piece where, that's right, Dr. Gill kind of taking her position, lead counselor, her position, and breaking that up into 3 pieces, lead counselor at each level. And again, he was contacted. I may not have called President Mahoney around the international school, but I will circle back to him.
I think we should.
I usually check in.
With that, with the international school, what number do we foresee like that building needing to be at to continue to serve in that space?
I want to refer that to the school programming and curriculum committee. That's a really deep conversation around what's going on in that neighborhood and what we see as the projections for the school. I think you chair that. I'm glad that you actually chair that, because you're the community, one of the community board members that spends a lot of time out there, and you should hear some of the data around the cost per student, the projected number of students, and some of the proposals we have as it relates to that footprint there.
Yeah, especially just seeing that building itself, it was shut down for having fewer students than we're thinking about having there now.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was reopened with fewer students than it was when it was shut down. And so, and I know when we had the vote on this building, there was a big petition from community members, which allowed us to then have students from that community go there. So if we're looking at a reduction in numbers, I think it begs the question of us sitting down and figuring out how do we continue that valuable service, but also be good stewards of district finances as well. And how do we then utilize that building if we're not gonna have those numbers? Because we still had community members that were sore about the school being shut down years back. I think you might have been around.
I was.
And the number that it was shut down for not having enough students is more than what we have over there now.
And I want to say also that last contract negotiations, Ms. Spurlock led that with she and I went down and worked through this with the President Mahoney, your former baseball coach. DEA is now silent on transfers, but again, the core academic team has him on speed dial. They run almost everything we're doing by him. He's brought in to have conversations. Dr. Davis has conversations with him. So we definitely bring them into the conversation.
Appreciate that. Appreciate one of those 5 Cs.
Working on it, man. Working on it.
I would just add that this policy was not something that the board came up with or the superintendent. This actually was something that was added into the state budget, House Bill 96. So it's Ohio Revised Code 3319.173 that allows these type of perimeters now. So appreciate it. All right, for the vote.
So I actually have a follow-up question to that, Board Member Walker. You might know the answer to. There is a clause on GCI. The last sentence of the first paragraph says, these requirements prevail over any conflicting provisions of collective bargaining agreements entered into on or after September 30th, 2025. That sentence kind of confused me a little bit. Can we get some clarity on?
I believe because the budget went into effect after or at that date, and that's why that part of that language is in there. At least that's what I think. I don't know if we want to pull that one and wait till next month so that we can get some clarity from legal on it, just to make sure.
So I'm part of the policy committee, and I had a conflict, and I could not attend this particular policy meeting, so I was not part of this discussion. I reached out to a few people that were there, and this policy, this was not, I think maybe people overlooked it. I sent an email to our legal counsel asking about that specific sentence, and he said it doesn't matter what's in the policy. It does not override any of our collective bargaining units. Because of that reason, I would like to move this back to policy committee for review with legal counsel, just to make sure that everything is in alignment with our collective bargaining agreements and with Ohio Revised Code. I don't know if there's any discussion that people want to have on that.
So you want to pull?
I would like to pull
GCI.
GCI and send that back to policy committee.
I'm good with that.
And second request, Dr. Bailey, if we could vote on these policies separately. There was a policy that had quite a bit of spirited discussion in the policy committee. And I'm hesitant whether, I mean, I would like to send that back to committee as well, too. I didn't feel like there was enough full understanding of the people in the room, both board members and administration. I feel uncomfortable voting on something that I feel was not really, where most of the people were not on the same page. There's a little bit of confusion over whether there were enough votes to pass it through policy committee as well, too. So I would like to send JEDA back to policy committee for further review as well.
All right, so we're pulling GCI and JEDA to go back to policy.
So we
Do
will
need to
be.
vote on that?
So do you want to?
Apologies.
No, you good. So do you want to vote on J? Do you still want to vote on them separate or just pull those two?
If we could just pull those two.
Okay. So then if we pull GCI, JEDA. So we're only voting on JECBB, JED, JEDC.
Correct.
Okay. Is everybody good? All right, Mr. Lacy.
Yes.
Ms. Reiner.
Yes.
Walker votes yes. Dr. Bailey.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Champion.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, we don't need to vote to send those back to policy. It's just, as a board collectively, we're saying that those are going back to policy.
All right.
I think that's what we're doing.
Comments? Ms. Hamilton, you have any comments? All right. Mr. Jones? Dr. Jones.
I'll be really quick. I want to give a shout out to the drivers. We've had one uncovered route this year. We've done over 150 field trips. all covered. And we will continue to work with them collaboratively. We meet every Thursday to rectify some of the issues shared. And yeah.
Mr. Brawha's not here. David, did you have anything?
The assistant treasurer of the Innovative Academies of Dayton Public Schools does not have any comments at this time.
That's right. You didn't even get him. David Riley. She's watching. She's watching.
Don't get too comfy.
Jocelyn Reinhardt,
I have nothing at this time.
Eric Walker.
I will say this is our last board meeting until after Election Day. So please do your part and educate yourself on who is running. Please don't be fooled by any political tricks or political stunts or political endorsements. Appreciate it.
All right. Mr. Champion?
No, sir.
What?
Mr. Smith?
That was your moment.
Yeah, no
That's all right.
He won't be back.
So, Mr. Champion is a student in the Belmont Bison Marching Band.
Yes, sir.
He's not coming back.
Is that the full name of
yes.
the Belmont Bison Marching Band? Isn't it called something?
Mighty Marching Bison.
The Mighty Marching Bison.
Get it right or pay the price.
No.
So, thank you. First, I want to shout out Dr. Bailey on doing a great job at running the meeting this evening.
And he didn't have to keep me in order.
And you know, you kept Brother Walker in order.
Like this?
And you.
No, I'm always straight. I'm fine. So I do want to shout that out. I want to lift up everybody in this district for all the work that they continue to do. I hope you all had great professional development sessions. Hope we are starting this next quarter off in a great way. I want to remind all our family members out there, please take advantage of our hack and our other communication portals. There's so much information that actually does go out, and our people perish for a lack of knowledge. And sometimes it's unfortunate that that knowledge is readily accessible, but we do not always go after that. So always encourage people, when you come across people, do not just give them fish, but teach them how to fish. And that is also how we need to be learning. I want to lift up all of the people who have just had anything to do with the care that has gone out to people in our community that have lost loved ones. We talk about it when we have the funerals, and we talk about it when we have the immediate shock of these incidents. But there are countless people throughout our district that are taking families under their wings and lifting up these babies daily. And a lot of the times when we go through that trauma, that time doesn't always heal all wounds, but time also lets a lot of people go back to living their regular lives. And I want us to remember that for the people that go through the traumatic situations that we see and we express our heartfelt sincerities out to, that feeling stays there. And so I just want to lift up the people that stand in the place and are always thinking of people, because it can be years. I'm someone who's gone through it. There are days where I just have a bad moment. So just understanding that and lifting up each other. I want to thank our treasurer in her absence, as well as our business manager and our superintendent and our auditor for their continued work and collaboration. I really appreciate the spirit of collaboration as much as possible, and I encourage us all to move forward with that. I want to thank the people that came out from the Old North Dayton neighborhood. You got to be they get upset when we say Kaiser's on the east side, it's on the north side of town. They'll fuss you out over that one. They will. But I appreciate Dr. Lawrence, you saying that you would meet with them. Just being present in those spaces sometimes does wonders. A lot of people do not feel heard, so I appreciate them coming out and voicing their concern, and also even coming out with, in their mind, what solutions could be. I really want us to really get into that solution-oriented kind of thinking. With that, let's continue to love on each other and continue to try to make this district as great as possible. And like Mr. Walker said, there is an election upcoming. I do not get into the whole endorsing and telling you who to vote for, but I want you to get out and vote. But also, just as much as we give energy to voting, I want us to give that same energy to accountability for those that we vote for. And I think that's what puts us in these positions when there's so much going out around election season, because in between election seasons, we do not hold that same energy. And so I want us to be able to stand on those things. That way, when we make those decisions, when we go to elect people, that we can make real decisions that can really impact our communities. So get out there, encourage people to get out there and vote. And let's just move our people together in a safe and loving space. That is all. Thank you so much, Dr. Vice President Bailey. Dr. Lawrence.
Special thanks to OEC, Gilwright, and Curriculum. We had hundreds. Each school was represented by hundreds. Thank you, Transportation, for getting our kids out today. For Coach Anthony Grant's suicide awareness today, we represented like no other school district in the county. For those of you who don't know, Anthony Grant, longtime basketball coach at the University of Dayton, awesome guy. Unfortunately, his daughter committed suicide, and he and his wife have been committed to that space. So we were there today talked to several principals today and kids, and they had a phenomenal time out there today. I'm going to thank the academic team for all the work that you do. I said a lot. I want to keep saying it. I see you. Keep doing the work you're doing. Yvette, I see you. You made it. It's less than 2 hours. Thank you for hanging in there today for Dr. Densmore. And Katina, I was at Westwood 2 days ago and today, and I called Tiffany right away and said it's spectacular. When I go in these buildings now, I just want to say the work you're doing is phenomenal. There's nothing better than going into a building that's clean, floors are spotless and shiny. So kudos to the work that you do, rolling your sleeves up to stand side by side, with those custodians, and it was great. Man, it was spotless in there. So thank you. And then, last but not least, I want to give a special shout out to one of our principals at the secondary level, Mr. Eddie Davis. Be
careful.
Mr. Eddie Davis.
Be careful.
Mr. Eddie Davis, the principal of Meadowdale, he took the bold and courageous step, the right step of crossing those burning sands of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Dr. Bailey.
Yes.
And that makes about the 15th brother in the district. I just want to say, Eddie, congratulations. Thank you.
All this time, Eddie was a GDI. That's wild.
Hey, man. Well, now he is a part of Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated. So I went over there, congratulated him. Went over to Meadowdale today. It was really nice. Just to watch those students, how they were moving. I will give Meadowdale some kudos today. It's good to be here today. I'm glad to see you all. I don't really have anything other than that. Pursuant to section 121.22G.
I did have something else before you did.
G2.
I did. I just realized Ms. Guerin and Ms. Kidd will actually choke me. And Ms. Goins. Next week, we are having our first NPHC, National Pan-Hellenic Council roundtable discussion, where we have invited all Divine Nine representatives out to hear from Superintendent Dr. Lawrence, Dr. Jones, Ms. Hamilton, and Treasurer of where we are as a district. Mr. Smith, you're invited, but we know who it's actually for. But we always welcome all board members.
I'm just saying.
But this will be an opportunity for us to do something different and bring them to the table, because they do all have youth mentoring groups, but we want to make sure that with the Dayton Public students in which they are serving, that all of our services, all of our academic plans, all of our enrichment opportunities are being universal across the board, but also where we are financially as a district, we're giving them that opportunity to chime in. So thank you, Dr. Bailey, appreciate it.
Thank you. And because of Will Smith, pursuant to section 121.22G2 of the Ohio Revised Code, I move that this board go into executive session. This meeting is being held to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, compensation of an public employee or employees.
Second. Moved by Dr. Bailey, second by Mr. Walker. For vote, Mr. Lacy.
Yes.
Ms. Reiner.
Yes.
Walker votes yes. Dr. Bailey.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Of course.
Mr. Chandler.
Yes.
He don't even get to vote. He don't go. He's still.
I still said yes.
Hey, that's it.
I still
See you
said
next
yes.
week.
Yes.